Ladies and gentlemen, this film is part of the celebration of the 15th anniversary of the Prince Claus Chair. As you know, the Prince Claus Chair was named after my father-in-law. He strongly believed in addressing global problems by bringing together talented minds. I am sure he would have been proud if we would have seen how its scope and reputation has grown over the 15 years since its beginning. In the past 5 years, we have seen researchers from an even wider variety of areas appointed to the chair. From language and communications and law, to frugal innovation and affordable pharmaceuticals. But no matter how diverse the succession of scientists has been, as you will see in a few moments, they all share the same passion and have a common ambition. The holders of the Prince Claus Chair dedicate their time and efforts to building a world where all citizens have equal opportunities to enhance the quality of their lives. I am excited to see what the next 5 years will bring. It is with great pleasure that I now give the visual floor to the chair holders appointed between 2012 and 2016. Thank you.
Professor Eileen Kuntai held the Prince Claus Chair from 2012 to 2014. Eileen looked at the issue of global poverty from an educational perspective. Her research focused on the language and communication development of infants and preschool children. Professor Kuntai is a professor at the Department of Psychology at Koç University in Istanbul, in Turkey. The language and communication abilities of children have an impact on the further development of knowledge acquisition and social interactions in later life. Although language is commonly hailed as a universal human-specific capacity, the knowledge and use of language is not uniformly distributed across individuals. Eileen believes that this could be a source of social inequality. The professor remembers how she was wholeheartedly welcomed by Dutch research communities. As holder of the Prince Claus Chair, she was able to expand her research agenda. Her work began to include comparisons between bilingual children, for example Turkish-Dutch, and monolingual children. Professor Kuntai is happy that her tenure has led to ongoing collaboration between researchers in Turkey and in the Netherlands. Professor Olujumoke Uduolu was appointed as the 2013 to 2015 holder of the Prince Claus Chair in recognition of her contributions to the field of international law and development. Professor Uduolu focused on the practical effectiveness of the right to development in relation to Africa. Umoke was a lecturer in the Faculty of Law at the Nigerian University of Lagos. Despite its enormous resources, Africa accounts for just 1% of global trade. One reason for this is that trade agreements are often disadvantageous for developing countries. One way to prevent countries from making such unfortunate agreements is through a right to development approach. Professor Uduolu aimed to create appreciation of the African vision that realization of this right is a legally binding obligation. Professor Uduolu called her time at the Prince Claus Chair a life-changing experience. After her term as chair, she joined the office of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as a special advisor on trade and investment. In 2014, the Chilean professor Javier Cuso was appointed to the Prince Claus Chair. During his 2-year term, he conducted a study on the institutional and socio-political determinants of judicial independence in new democracies, with a focus on Latin American countries. Professor Cuso is the director of the Constitutional Law Program at the Universidad Diego Portales in Santiago. In the past decade, judiciaries in Latin America have faced serious challenges to their independence in the form of legislative and institutional reforms. This has limited their ability to act impartially and effectively in their pursuit of justice. With his research, Professor Cuso identified the institutional and socio-political factors under which judicial systems are most effective. He clarified which determinants can enhance judicial independence. Countries making the transition from dictatorship to democracy in the years to come will be helped by Cuso's insights. Through the chair, he tried to demonstrate how a constitution and a legal system can contribute to a country's development. For him, the Prince Claus Chair has opened many useful doors in Europe. As holder of the Prince Claus Chair from 2015 to 2017, Professor Saradindu Baduri was involved in research projects in the field of frugal innovation. Frugal innovation caters to the needs of economically marginalised sections of society. During his term as chair, Saradindu aimed to better understand how frugal thinking can be an alternative to a top-down approach to policymaking in development. He helped to give insight into the added value of bottom-up innovations that take the local community's own strengths as their starting point. Professor Baduri works at the Centre for Studies in Science Policy of the Jawaharlal Nehru University in New Delhi, India. Professor Baduri worked extensively with the Centre for Frugal Innovation in Africa, a collaborative venture of Leiden University, Delft University of Technology and Erasmus University Rotterdam. He saw this link as very profitable indeed. He said, "My network has hitherto been mostly within the academic world. The Prince Claus Chair has helped me to reach out to practitioners in development and social innovation organisations and projects." For Professor Fatima Suleiman, the pricing of drugs to treat diseases which cause huge suffering is the main focus. During her term as chair from 2016 to 2018, Suleiman is concentrating on the fair pricing of medicines, affordability, equity and transparency in medicine pricing, and access to medicines. Some of the questions Professor Suleiman is seeking to answer are: what measures can be used by policymakers to assess the affordability of medicines for the population? Can health systems in low and middle income countries afford the drugs they put on their essential medicines list? Professor Suleiman sees the chair as an enriching experience. She says, "The mentorship offered has been incredible. I've been able to interact with a number of new researchers entering this field and share my experiences with them." Suleiman is happy to see that her network has grown and that her work is gaining enhanced exposure, both in South Africa and abroad.
They say that great minds think alike. But in the context of the Prince Claus Chair, it's maybe more appropriate to say that great minds think together. Not only have these gifted researchers worked as individuals to realize the vision of Prince Claus, the vision of equitable development, but they've also worked, and they still do work, with others. They've worked together. They've worked with the researchers of Utrecht University and those of the International Institute of Social Studies at the Erasmus University in Rotterdam. And increasingly, they've also worked with the partner universities who've joined us for each appointment. These global ties and this international exchange of scientific knowledge are at the core of what the Prince Claus Chair stands for. When we team up together, we can really make a difference. That's what these past 15 years have shown us. And that's what we're celebrating today on our 15th anniversary. International collaboration for a greater equity and a better quality of life for every person on this planet.